Managing employees is very difficult. For example, you might be here in Tanzania, like geographically, you work in an office, but it's still very difficult to manage employees. You must have a human resource team, security to make sure everyone is coming in on time, but you are doing it from the US. So I'm wondering, how do you do it?
That's a phenomenal question. And I'm giving answers, but really everything is from God, right? I'm Christian, you're Muslim, but we understand this concept. We understand God gives us everything. So it's his favor, his grace, etc. What I'll say with managing teams, there's people and then there's structure. So I wasn't good at operations, and that was a big limit to my business. I can never get over certain dollar figures because if you're not good at operations, you can't really build structures. You can't really scale. It depends on you. So if you're not working, or you're not managing something, it's not going to keep going up. It's going to start teetering down. Then I hired one person who came in and helped me fix some operations. Then hired another person who was more operations minded too. And we started creating systems in place. And then finally, I became pretty good at developing operations myself. And so I'm thinking, okay, what structures do we need in place? So when I say people, at some point in your business, it's time to hire managers or leaders. I differentiate managers and leaders a little bit. A manager should be a leader, but I think a leader is a bit more than a manager. So are we working to a point where we have enough money where now we can have a manager whose job isn't to actually serve clients, but it's to make sure our people are serving clients correctly. So having somebody on the ground in different spaces. Also structure, I have check-ins. So people are supposed to sign in at a certain time virtually. People are supposed to send messages in and out. And we tie people's adherence to that, to incentives. So you do this, you get this. You don't do this, you get this. And then also, unfortunately, it's letting people go. Sometimes people don't get it until they see somebody got fired for not adhering to this. But not just letting people go, giving bonuses to people who do good things that you like. Because then they're like, you know what? They're not just trying to punish us. They really enjoy this behavior. I'm going to strive for this because I know I'm going to get richly rewarded for that.
Let's say you have a worker who is very passionate, but they are underperforming at work. How do you handle that? Do you fire them immediately? How do you do it?
So the way we handle it, we have a feedback system. So typically we line out everything you need to do to stay in the company, get bonuses, what happens if you don't do certain things, and what will happen that leads to being fired. So what leads to being fired is typically, I'll just call it a strike rule. So it's typically 3 strikes and you're fired. So there's an offense. If the offense is of a certain caliber, it counts as 1 or 2 strikes. Some offenses count as 3 strikes. Let's say fraud, stealing, etc. You're automatically kicked out the company. But that doesn't apply in this case. So if somebody's underperforming, so 1 strike, what we're going to do is we're going to give them write-up. I'll have either a manager, a supervisor. So a supervisor in my company is under the manager, a supervisor, or even myself will have a conversation with the person, especially if they're very passionate or we see promise in them. Hey, this is what you need to do to get better. We need you to do this in this timeline. If not, it's going to be hard to. Then maybe they got better, but not enough. It's a 2nd strike, and then by the 3rd strike, they're out if they didn't improve. What we also would do is kind of give them the playbook on how they can get better. It's happened in the past where I've had to fire 2 people that were quote unquote passionate, but they weren't performing. Both people actually were able to come back for that because the other people on the team, I told them, hey, this is what you can go out. I'm not going to pay you to continue getting better if you're underperforming. If you're really passionate about it, go get better, and then we'll reevaluate you and bring you back in team. If you're doing the right things, then I have no problem bringing somebody back, right? If you left the right way, it's just you didn't have the skill set, go train up yourself and then come back. And if you do have the skill set, then we'll look at you again. And both people, they acquired the skill set and they were able to come back. So my viewpoint is have very clear guidelines, give people the opportunity to improve. But if they don't, you do have to let them go, because at the end of the day, as a CEO, one of your main jobs is to allocate capital, right? To choose how you're spending money. And if you're putting money in the wrong places, then you're risking the health of the business, right? So my time, if I'm firing somebody, doesn't mean that I'm going out and pocketing the money. Now I'm putting that money to research and development. I'm putting that money to maybe hiring a different employee that's doing better. And we've seen that the caliber of people we've hired has gotten much better over time because we just have that in place. And when the people get hired now, everybody's more excited to come to work because people like working with other smart people. right? Smart people enjoy that. I mean, let me say, smart people, driven people like working with other smart and driven people.